All right. So I want to talk about how Tulsi Gabbard, her biggest obstacle is going to be her own party. All right. Uh, the way Bernie Sanders look, and Bernie Sanders to me is just too old, and I just wish that both parties would kind of recruit some younger folks, some fresh energy, some new blood. If Rand Paul had a chance on the Republican side of things, he argues, by the way, the same stuff as Tulsi, except Rand Paul is a free market guy, and Tulsi Gabbard, I think, is more inclined to be a little more on the socialist side of things. Don't know all of her economic positions, but I am totally in love with and intrigued by her anti-war position because I've been saying this now for years. A lot of us who are more center right or even far right looked at things back 10, 15 years ago a lot differently than we see things now because we've seen the failure of George W. Bush. Abject failure. Mission accomplished? Yeah, not so much. Mission ongoing forever. Bill Clinton, to his credit, he just kind of didn't do a whole lot in that area. I think he did a few things, but he didn't make it too bad. I think he was a little busy with Monica Lewinsky. But before that, you had George H.W. Bush. Reagan, Reagan was a good president. Let's just be honest. I think Ronald Reagan governed peacefully for many years. But really, though, if you look at the presidency since the JFK assassination, most of it has been guided by a neocon philosophy with little blips here and there of restraint. And George W. Bush, and by the way, Barack Obama, did the same thing. If you're an Obama fan and you're over here, all I can tell you is that Obama pretty much perpetuated everything. He talked about ending this and stopping that. He ran on it. Now, Trump, too, is guilty of some of that as well. He said, nope, I don't want to do this anymore. We're in too deep. We're all in all these wars. He lectured Bush years ago. It was a stupid idea to go into Iraq, and he's on record, and he wanted to make sure he was on record. And man, did he get beat up in the debates. You don't know anything about foreign policy, you're an idiot. Well, I disagree with the fact that he's an idiot on foreign policy. He may not know a lot of nuance, but he did know that these huge wars end up bankrupting the country. Donald Trump is into money. He's into building wealth, and he knew that spending more money than you have is not going to build the wealth. Now, Trump is guilty of running into a buzzsaw, which is what some people call the deep state. Tulsi Gabbard is going to have the same problem. The question is, can she cut through that? And can we support her in the sense that this is something we want? And can the people get the power back to change this? Because she'll be the great figurehead of all time. Articulate, military, strong woman, fairly attractive. Let's throw that in there. This isn't Hillary Clinton or Madeleine Albright. Just want to say that, okay? I think she could easily captivate the country and pull independents in. That is, if her economic rhetoric doesn't become like, I don't know, Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren or, whoever else is far, far left on those matters. I think she's got to show some moderation. Okay? I think her candidacy represents almost like a reset for America if she could get in there and work with both Democrats and Republicans and tone down the daily rhetoric, which, for good or bad, a lot of people think, Trump's a genius for doing it this way and that. Honestly, I think it's worn a lot of his supporters down, and I may be in the minority, but it's worn me down because it's like, geez, you got to keep doing this every day. And, presidents need to be peacemakers within their own country. At a certain point, you know, you've got to be able to communicate and articulate that. And Donald Trump is pretty much a speech reader. He's not going to come up with any of his own, long-winded Gettysburg type addresses. He's going to have those speeches written, and the things that he says are all going to be kind of scripted. And Obama too. I know Obama had a lot of that, and every politician has it to some degree. But they've got to be able to do what Tulsi Gabbard does, and that is talk on the fly, sound reasonable, sound conciliatory to some degree too. In other words, don't just be so mean against the people that disagree with you. Because a lot of people will say, you know what, I wasn't thinking about voting for her because I don't agree with some of this stuff, but this one issue, if you're going to be a one-issue person, one-issue voter this time around, because I tell you what, you're going to see the economy go south again. And each time it goes south, they monetize the debt, they print more money, and we go deeper in debt, and the money has less value. Notice how the housing market, it's come back, but it hasn't come back as strong as it did when they artificially inflated it, okay? And they have to keep doing this in order to keep the market from tanking completely, and for, so folks can have some value to whatever they have. Otherwise, nothing has value, and you end up not wanting to pay your mortgage and pay your car. Right now, we're underwater on car loans, just so you know. I mean, so it's not pretty. We're in a consumer-driven culture, and you've got a president who certainly is the consumer president. It's what he represents. But imagine saving trillions of dollars each year, trillions, on the war machine. And it could happen. It could happen. The question is, can Tulsi get past her own party to do this? And then can she get to the presidency and keep holding these positions? Thing is, if she goes up against Donald Trump, Trump had these positions, and she can look at him and say, hey, you said you're going to do this and you didn't do it. And he can say, well, I'm going to do it. And she can say, well, I'm better at getting the job done. And I know, because I've got military know-how and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see if she can get past her own party. And that's really her biggest obstacle right now. And then the media, which apparently, it's just so bizarre, the media tends to lean hard to the left, mostly in this country, other than Fox News. But Fox and all the other channels seem to carry the same message. That, what are you going to do about Assad? What are you going to do about all these dictators? You going to stand idly by while they do this to their own people? My response would be, my first responsibility is to the American people. And then once that's taken care of, we can look at some other things. But we're no longer going to go galloping around the world looking for conflicts, because we are trillions of dollars in debt. Remember those old Tea Party people? A few of those would come out of the woodwork to hear a speech like that. Just saying, there's intersectionality there, there's common ground, and sometimes the common ground is more important than the stuff that you don't agree on. And we'll see what happens. Tulsi, good luck. I'd like to see you get, past this machine. Bernie couldn't do it last time, and I think you're the best hope this time. See you soon.